We know that there's 3 of them, not just 1. Let's not make that mistake.
What?
There's 3 of them, not just 1.
3 state titles. I mean, it is double A, but gotta keep him grounded there. All right, guys. So we're back with another FNM stream here. I'm trying to type and talk. Ugh. All right. Man, I'm slogging through this one tonight. Got there. All right, so we're in a round 1 feature match tonight. We're doing Theros block draft. We watched Dave Snow on the left draft an interesting, if slightly underpowered, Dimir deck. He's got a lot of blue-white flyers. He's got the tap enchantment up top. Fires off War Wing thing, the 1/3 heroic flyer that I don't think he can trigger heroic hardly at all. And his opponent is Scotty Wright, who is playing Boros.
Yeah, there's 3 mana 2/3 on his side.
And then follows that up with a card I don't know. And I apologize, we've got a lot of glare tonight, guys, but because of free comic book day tomorrow, they've rearranged the tables in the store to accommodate some demos and stuff. So we're drafting in a non-controlled environment. Although, to be completely fair, Free Comic Day is way more important than our stupid glare on our camera.
Yes.
Should be a lot of fun.
Usually very lucrative for the store, too.
Yeah, last year I learned how to play a DC deck building game, and it was it's one of my favorite games now. I will not be able to participate tomorrow, as I'll be playing on free, go to my dad's house and try to take the door panel off my car to fix the lock mechanism day. It's not nearly as lucrative for the store, but...
Whatever that creature was, it got eye gouged.
Yep, so it was a 1 toughness creature. So Dave offering the block here with his 1/3 to see if Scotty wants to. Has a trick or whatnot.
There's a boon. +2/+0 and will regenerate it. At the cost of 2 life.
So see if Scotty has a trick to save it. He does not. So Dave effectively has dealt with 2 threats so far from Scotty.
The heroic trigger is a +1/+1 counter.
It's one of the few heroic triggers that Dave has. I guess at some point he can eye gouge his own creature to give it a +1/+1 counter.
It's not bad.
Well, at least if you do it at the end of their turn. Otherwise it's a net loss. You can do it to confuse your opponent, that's for sure. Scotty's showing that even in Limited, he can just agonize over a decision.
There's a Pegasus.
He ends up with the Cavalry Pegasus, which I believe can't... There's another War Ring.
Cavalry Pegasus, not a Pegasus from the Bible.
When did I say Cavalry? I spelled it
Yes.
Cavalry. When it's a 1/1 flyer. When it attacks, each attacking human gains flying until end of turn.
Ooh, so Scotty
Got all these tricks. Searing Blood takes out one of the War Wings.
and there's a Soul Tie effect. That's the you must pay 3 to attack or block. So Scotty 2-for-1 himself to get rid of that War Ring. But
Still facing down this 2/4 now soul-tithed redundant copy of War Wing. We see Dave has a Lash of Erebos in his hand, but he is also stuck on 3 lands here.
yeah, he's missed 2 land drops.
But this Read the Bones should help tremendously. So we're at least like, well, he has a 5th land. He has a 4th land in his hand. So 1 on top, 1 on the bottom. He kept a black card, and he drew another black card, which I know is not very helpful, but...
So they've been very fortunate that Scotty didn't have a very fast start. His deck's not really capable of stopping a very fast heroic creature. And the cards that he has drawn deal a lot of damage to him. Dave's done 4 to himself so far. can be noted that Scotty's missing his second white source. Okay, so
yeah.
in case he has
Scotty has
creatures that cost double whites.
Scotty has not struggled for lands in magnitude, but he is missing.
There's a Lashy Whip.
So Lash of the Whip clears out the white creature that I cannot make out. Scotty is very good at having sleeves that and card placement that makes it impossible to read any of his cards.
It does. That was a 68.
Mm-hmm.
Followed up with a Servant of Dimir.
So there's our second white source, and immediately Scotty casts a Faded Conflagration.
Yep.
6.
Well, it's not a Faded Conflagration because Faded Conflagration can't hit players, right?
What is that? It scries too. Let me see what that is. I just want to see what card it is. Take backs. It is a Faded Conflagration, and he can't do that. So he still casts it. Still going to take out the Dimir.
Well, he'd already begun the scrying process.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go back.
Yes. I guess it'd be an easy fix. I think he has another one in his hand.
Another Faded Conflagration?
Yes.
It's a very good card. It's a tremendous card, actually. It's actually, when Dreadbore rotates out, it'd be interesting to see if it still if it sees play, because it is effectively a red Dreadbore. Mm-hmm. And there it is.
There are no planeswalkers that come in and have more than 5 loyalty.
And this is pretty brutal here because Dave has his best bestow creature late in the game when he could bestow it, and the only creature he has on board is one that he's not going to be able to profitably attack with.
Right. Good catch, Royman. Heck, we were out there on the table, common fixer, before Royman ever woke up this morning.
But also good catch, Royman. So we appreciate it. We've got the Nautilus in hand, and we've got a Nautilus in hand, and we've got another Lash of the Whip. So at some point, Dave can go all in on this Herald and just start like crushing.
Yeah, well, he's going to have to do something soon because it deals 1 to him during his upkeep.
Mm-hmm.
Pay 3 to attack, take 5,
mm-hmm.
take 6, because it.
And he's just going to cast it on us outright. Scotty low on resources here. He's going to have to find an answer to that Nautilus. The Nautilus is one of those cards that it's a 4/4 for 3, and you think, man, I cast this on 3 as a 4/4. It really puts a clock on. But it's actually better late in the game, in my opinion, because it's when you exhaust them of resources, they've already used their removal spell. It's very difficult to deal with.
Yep.
It's a giant body. At that point, the mana cost is less of a concern or a perk than just its raw stats.
This is clearly not a Faded Conflagration. It's a 1 mana do something.
It's a 1 mana destroy target illusion is what it is. Dave, like a good player, remembers his Herald trigger. Drops down to 7 here. He draws a land off the top here. So Dave counting his mana, deciding if he can activate his enchantment or cast land.
Has he activated it yet?
No. What's it called again? Sky something? Get in for 3, dropping Scotty down to 8.
Maybe.
Difficult here because I can't make out exactly what Scotty's creatures are because of the excessive glare.
Yeah, he's not attacking. Yeah, he is attacking. He's attacking with both.
It is Thassa's Ire, I believe, is what is that what the flood enchantment is called?
Yeah.
Yep, it is Thassa's Ire. He played that on turn 1 and has never activated it.
And he's he's not activating it here.
Well, he could untap one of his dudes. There's a very legitimate chance that Scotty is not playing around the fact that he can untap his dudes. Dave also, we know, has a lash of the whip in his hand. And a Scotty at 6, he's representing lethal on board here. So there is a lash. It'll take out the red creature.
I like this. You can lash the attackers this turn, and then whatever the follow-up play is, you just tap it.
Mm-hmm. Dave drops down to 5 from the attack. There is no follow-up here, so you just got to go for it, alright?
If you drew something that can target that 2/3.
Oh, he's only representing 5 damage. For whatever reason, I thought he was representing 6. That's my bad, yo. So he sends in, puts Scotty down to 1. He hasn't landed his hand, obviously. It's not worth holding it to bluff if you've already tried to play it. So we know we're tapping
it
that.
Also gets another activation.
That's a tribute guy, right?
Is that the tribute guy or is that the Skull Cleaver? Yeah, that's the Skull Cleaver. It comes in as a 4/2 for 3.
Mm-hmm. And it has a haste, right?
Yeah.
So Dave taps that. Before combat, Scotty serves in for 2. Even if he has a follow-up play here, Dave's just going to untap, tap it, and then get in there and survive it exactly 1, right? Wow. If you think about that, Herald of Torment did probably 4 damage.
Yes.
He Read the Bones, which was 6. And yeah, Boon of Erebos, which was another 2. So Dave did 8 points of damage to himself and got himself down to 1 life. But it's only the last point of life that matters, Garrett. That's what the pros tell me. So Dave Snow gets there. And these guys move to the sideboard. We're going to have short times here, as they probably won't sideboard, but we do want to take this opportunity to thank, well, I don't need to bring these up. I'm going to do this. I want to thank the fine folks here at Lost Legion Games and Comics for letting us broadcast their FNM each and every week, and specifically on draft weeks, as they let me monopolize one of the draft pods and set up my equipment to be able to film the draft and stream the matches. Just a shout out to Lost Legion, running a couple big events coming up on May 17th. That's a Saturday. It's a week from 2 weeks from tomorrow. Star City Spring States will be standard here in Charleston, West Virginia. So if you're in the region or the area, make sure to stop by, as we will all be there. And then May 31st in Morgantown, the TCG Player Spring Stage, which is sealed. That'll be up at the Morgantown Mall in Morgantown. So definitely support the store that supports this stream. We also want to give a shout out to InkedPlaymats.com, who hooked us up with a sweet custom playmat that you see there under our feature match camera. Also want to thank them for retweeting my FNM announcements every week, which is pretty cool. And also make sure to check out their website, not just for custom playmats, but for original art playmats for as low as $10. Also custom dice bags, and recently announced custom sleeves, which are pretty cool. They are currently a little bit pricey, but they do come with sleeve protectors, so you can oversleeve them. You shouldn't really ever need to buy new ones. That's pretty cool. It'd be a pretty cool thing to have, is custom sleeves with your own specific art on them. And then finally, we encourage you to support your local game store, but obviously there are cards you need for Eternal format decks and the like that you can't find in your local display case. When that happens, head over to affinityforcards.com with some of the lowest prices on the internet. You can also check them out on TCG Player, or check them out at a variety of events, as they vend at many PTQs and state events in the Midwest, which include the West Virginia PTQ on May 11th, Star City States here on May 17th, the Comic Town PTQ on May 24th in Columbus, as well as a variety one. If he plays it again, I'll go out there and figure out what it is. Props to Dave Snow going bareback on this.
Yeah.
The most expensive card in his deck is whatever that inspired Perplexing Chimera type thing. So probably not a concern.
It would cost more for sleeves.
I don't think it's so much cost more, it's just whatever. So there's a card that we do not know what it is. We didn't find it in game 1. We know it has 1 toughness though, because it dies to an eye gouge, which means Omen Speaker should be able to block it for most of the day. Scrying away what was likely 2 lands there.
You're really happy just to trade Omen Speaker for a combat trick too.
Yes, if you get a card out of your Omen Speaker, you're living the dream. What's that card? Can't block? Scry? Is that what that is?
Okay.
That seemed to be what it...
Whatever
It looks like a falter scry with strive. It's the strive.
Okay.
And there is the 2/3. What's his name again?
Whatever it was, Scotty just needed it to scry because he does not have a third land.
What's that card called?
Oh, let's stay.
Hey, what's that blue card called? What's that card called? Daring Thief. Daring Thief. I know what it does, but I just don't. This card could be very good.
They can attack through the 2/1, that's for sure.
It's also sad. Well, not sad, but it does say non-land permanent, so you can't swap lands to land screw them. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So it gets Follow the Hammer. So Scotty 2-for-1ing himself again.
Mm-hmm. And here's a chorus. So 3/2 flyer on board, right?
Yeah.
So Scotty down to 4 cards in his hand. He has nothing on board. He's definitely falling behind. He's going to... So there is the Minotaur. Does have haste, so he's going to be able to get in for 4 there, but it's likely not going to impact the game from this point out.
Yeah, now it's a 2/2.
Still left, or Dave still with Vaporkin in hand left to deploy. Looks like he has his Servant as well. Omen Speaker Beatdown has begun, knocking Scotty down to 16 in total. There is the Vaporkin. There is the Servant. Not leaving Regenerate mana up, but I don't think Dave really cares at this point. As Scotty's only has the 2/2.
Okay. We'll see if we get another spell out of Scotty. Nope.
Why would you have attacked? I mean, you're not blocking. Well, you could block the Omen Speaker. Why would you have attacked? Does it have to attack every turn?
No. Death Bell Raider is just the one that has to attack.
I guess there's something to represent. I guess you could. Dave might not block because some trick. He might overvalue that Servant, but I figure Dave's always going to.
This also gets information out of Dave's hand. Like, if Dave had a trick or a counterspell or something like that, he's less likely to block because the next turn he can trick or do something like that. Say if a Servant. Because a Servant is going to deal 1 damage. Here's an Eye Gouge.
No. That's the.
Asphyxiate.
Yes.
The Servant is going to technically deal 2 damage each turn. It's like a Snarecaster.
Yeah, Lena Staircaster, is that what it's called?
Is that what no, Snarecaster only costs 2 mana.
Lash of the Whip drawn from Dave. Serves in with the Flyers. And Scotty's on his last legs here. See, this is exactly the kind of draw. This is what Dave wants his deck to do. Play Flyers, back it up with removal.
Yes. So whenever his cards line up like this, like he didn't have the Lash of the Whip in his hand, but now he does.
And Scotty...
It's going to block and regenerate. It's going to untap and deal 1, and then it's going to bash you from the top with the Flyers.
Yep, so exactly lethal off the Inspired trigger and the creature and the attack from the Flyers, as Garrett mentioned. So Dave Snow, our featured drafter, he at least wins the first one. That's all we can ask out of him. So we'll watch him play a second round too. I think it's more fun as long as Dave is winning to show the matches he's played in, since we, number 1, are familiar with his deck and how he drafted it and how he built it, and number 2, know most of the cards, so we don't look like as big of an idiot as we possibly could. So guys, I want to thank you guys for watching. Only 55 watching live, but it is release weekend, so a lot of people drafting themselves tonight, or possibly playing their first standard with new cards, which is always enticing. I know a lot of people don't watch the stream this week because they want to see new standard, but we also don't get to draft that much here at the store, so this is... Release weekend is always a draft, so good to let the limited guys get their fix. But while you are watching, if you enjoy the stream, if you haven't watched us before, or you just haven't bothered to follow us on these forms of social media, check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch. The username on all of those is Zach Sells Magic. You can follow me on Twitter for daily updates about Magic. I'm also going to complain about my job a lot, and occasionally retweet pictures from my dog's parody account. YouTube, everything we've ever recorded is on YouTube. These videos will be up tomorrow or on Sunday. Over 500 videos to watch there, so a lot of Magic content. Facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic, updated daily with Magic content, news aggregator, things like that. We are 5 likes away from 1,000. Help us get over that arbitrary hump. And then finally,
like it just to piss Zach off.
That's the Adam Vickers. That's what he does. He waits until I hit a milestone Twitter follower and then unfollows me. And then finally, you're watching on Twitch, obviously. Click the follow button below and to the left, and you'll get an email notification anytime our stream goes live for our weekly FNM stream at 6:30 p.m. Eastern here in the U.S. Or if we do a Saturday event or a Wednesday event that's unannounced, you will be reminded, you'll get an email and you'll think, hey, I'm not doing anything productive with my life. I'll go to my nearest computer or load up my Twitch app and watch Zach, Garrett, and all